Hello teachers, this is the instructional guide for Primary 3, Term 3, week 11, okay? And for this week, I've decided that I think we could if we just do only one book, right? Because this is on time, and judging from the previous homework and the material, right, for this week, it seems that it may be a bit challenging for students if you have to cover more than one booklet, all right? So just focus on one booklet. And then if there is time, right, if you manage to cover everything before the end of the lesson, they can work on the previous topics, primarily corrections. I believe there should be quite a number of corrections for students based on the previous work done. Okay, so this is solving word problem. So I would suggest that we start off with the learn segment here. All right, so this is the typical question. Although the questions to come, right, you can see there's actually quite a variety, right, which is again why I suggest that we only spend time on one booklet, because there's a wide variety of questions to follow. Okay, so here you have Ella walk from her home to the nearest bus stop. At the bus stop, she boarded the bus to go to a library. The bus journey lasted 25 minutes. Ella then spent 2 hours and 45 minutes at the library and left the library at 1:20 p.m. What time did Ella board the bus to the library? So this is this question, right? If you think if we get students to digest it, think about it. It is actually about finding the start time, right? The start time. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time trying to draw this here, but you can obviously see its start time. And here, what is provided is the end time. Okay, so get the student to analyze the question. What did they find? They're supposed to find the start time. In other words, they need to know the duration. All right, so with the duration, they can work backwards. So in this case, to find the duration, basically what they need to do is to add 25 minutes to 2 hours 45 minutes. Okay, so 25 minutes to 2 hours 4 minutes, and then you get the duration. Now, how do we add the duration? There are a few ways to do it. One way is to convert 2 hours 45 minutes, okay, into minutes first. So if you recall, some students who are not very good in that, you can get them to write this way out: 2 hours, 3 hours. All right, so 1 hour equals 60, 2 hours equals 120. Okay, so 2 hours 45 minutes will be 120 plus 45 is 165 minutes. Okay, and then it says 165 minutes, you add another 25, right? What you get is 190 minutes. Okay, so what is 190 minutes? Now, I don't complete this, right? So they know that 3 hours is 190 minutes, 3 hours is 100 minutes. So 190 minutes, right? You split up will be 3 hours, and then you have 90 minus 190 minus 80, right? You get 10 minutes. So the hour is 3 hours, 10 minutes. So that's one way you can teach them to do, to convert into minutes first. If not, okay, then they may need to do the regrouping way. So how do you do regrouping way? In other words, 2 hours, 45 minutes. Okay, this is can be a bit challenging for some students, okay, because they may confuse with the usual way of addition, right? Tens and ones, but this is a bit different, right? So 2 hours plus 25 minutes, right? What's the answer? So they have to calculate here. 5 plus 5 equals 10. 10 plus 1 equals to 60. Oh no, 70. I'm sorry. But we know that we cannot have 70 minutes here, right? Because this is by minutes. Maximum is 60. And once you reach 60, right? Okay, you got to convert it into an hour. Right? So 70 minutes means that you have 1 hour. 1 hour you need to convert it, regroup it, and then 70 minus 60 equals 1. Okay, and then 1 plus 2 equals 3 hours. So depending on which way fits well. So I would say that for the start of the question, you show them these 2 ways. Okay, you show them these 2 ways, and then you ask them which way, they are more comfortable with. Okay, so it is all right. They can use either way. Again, the first way is to convert into minutes first, then minus minutes. On the other way is to do this kind of a format: 2 hours 45 minutes, right? And then plus 25. So you have to do some regrouping, but the regrouping is a bit different because you are regrouping 60 minutes into 1 hour. Okay, so take note of that. Okay, then take them through the guided practice, right? I would suggest model with them, right? So you might want to show them how to do this. So this is about finding the start time, right? After break, they spend another before leaving. Oh, sorry, this is about finding the end time, right? So to find the end time, they're given the start time. Okay. So if start time and end time, right? Every time the question provides either the start time or the end time, they may provide a start time and ask you to look for the end time, or they may provide the end time and look for the start time. So for this kind of question, right, you need to find out the duration. All right, so you have to calculate the duration here. So again, the duration, right? You remind them that there are two ways they can do it, right? 2 hours 10 minutes, okay, then plus another 40 minutes, and then plus another 1 hour 35 minutes, right? So you leave it to them what's the best way to do it. Okay, either convert into minutes and then do the regrouping way. All right, then after that, step B, okay, now that they have to find the end time, they need to do this timeline thing, right? Start line, if the total is 4 hours 25 minutes, so you got to do it this way. Okay. The second question, guided practice. Tony and his family spent 3 hours and 50 minutes at the park. They cycled for 1 hour and 40 minutes and spent the rest of the time having a picnic. How much time did they spend on their picnic? Give your answers in hours and minutes. Okay, so this is in total, it is 3 hours and 15 minutes. So this is something like a part whole model, right? In total, right? They spend a total of this, and part of it, right? Part of it is 1 hour 40 minutes. Okay, what is the other part? So can you see that? Part whole. Okay, part whole. If students are unsure, right, you can actually do a bar model thing, right? Although it's quite strange to use bar model, right? Maybe you want to use a timeline thing, right? That's fine as well. But perhaps a bar model may be a good representation. So this is obviously 3 hours, 15 minutes, right? If they are unable to see it, right? If they are able to see it, right, then you don't have to do this. And then one portion is 1 hour 40 minutes. Okay. So, and then what's the other portion? Okay, this is the question mark. So it is 3 hours 15 minutes, all right, minus 1 hour 40 minutes. Okay, so subtraction. So subtraction, same thing. You show them that there are two ways, right? But here, what it does here is, let me see. It says write the answer in minutes first. Okay, so they subtract by the hour, then they subtract by the minutes. Okay, so different ways of doing it, right? I'm not sure whether we want to follow this method out, right? Because you want to teach them a consistent method. So one way is to convert 3 hour 15 minutes into minutes first. Okay, and then convert 1 hour 40 minutes into minutes, right? Then you minus minutes by minutes and convert back to hours and minutes. The other way would be regrouping, right? So this one is the regrouping way, right? 3 hours. Remember to write the hour and minutes in. Don't just write 3 on 5. This is to avoid them from confusing with 315, right? 3 hour 15 minutes minus 1 hour 40 minutes. Okay, so then you ask them, can 15 minutes minus 40? Nope, you can't. So you need to regroup, right? So you regroup, you put 1 hour here, which means you are adding 60, right? 60 plus 15. Okay, 60 plus 15, and this becomes 2 hours. So 60 plus 15 is 75. 75 minus 40, all right, you get 35 minutes. Okay, and after that, 2 hours minus 1 hour, okay, equals 1 hour. So 1 hour 35 minutes. So two ways of doing it. Okay, again, either convert it into minutes first, do the subtraction, or you do this regrouping method. Okay, but a regrouping method, you got to remind them, right? It's different from the tens and hundreds and thousands, right? Because here what you're doing is you're regrouping or you're renaming, right, the hours into minutes. Okay. Okay, then you might want to, some of these questions here are quite easy. Like the first one, Mike took 1 hour. He took this longer. So this one is just about reading. You may actually get them do it, or if you don't want to waste time, simply check their understanding. Because the tricky part is this one, right? He took 28 hours longer to cycle back. Some kids would just add 1 hour and 18 minutes to 28 minutes. But let's not forget that this is longer, right? So if you draw a bar model, how much time did it take to cycle back? You need to add 1 hour, 18 minutes to 28 minutes first. Okay, then you add both together. All right. Oh, sorry, the question is only asking cycle home, right? So this is clear. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so I apologies, I misread, right? So I thought it's a total time spent. No, it's not total time spent. So it's actually more straightforward. Okay. Let's see. So the rest of the questions are okay. Then I would like you to bring to your attention a one particular question. So some of these can be done as homework, but I noticed that one question is this one here, right? This is a bit tricky, so you might want to do the question 6 with them. Rita was watching a documentary. After watching for 1 hour and 20 minutes, she took a break for 40 minutes. Then she continued watching the remaining 40 minutes of the documentary. How long was the documentary? Now, if a student did not read the question carefully, they would simply just add 1 hour 22 minutes to 14 minutes to 40 minutes. Okay, but the question is asking about the documentary. So the break doesn't count. You all see that? The break doesn't count. The 40 minutes doesn't count. The question was not how much time did he spend to watch the documentary. The question was how long was the documentary? Okay, so hence you got to raise their attention, right? So it's actually just 1 hour 20 minutes plus 40 minutes. Then again, you can use different ways to solve the question. Okay. I would say then you have questions like this as well that may include multiplication. Okay, so maybe run through with them, right? On every Tuesday, Class D's English lesson lasts for 3 periods. Each period is 25 minutes. So they need to know how long is the English lesson. Okay, so quite straightforward. So if you don't know them to work out, maybe just ask verbally so you can save time, right? Let's see. And these bus, right, to school takes 20 minutes. Yes, we've been in school every day. Okay, so this is they may not have done this kind of question before, right? And this bus ride is to his school takes 35 minutes. And so he has to reach school by 7:15. What is the latest time ND must board the bus? Right. So this is finding out the start time actually. Okay. All right. It's just about finding the start time. Right. And then you can verbally just go through with them, right? So no need to do this question. You can get them to do as homework instead. The rest of the questions, right? Some of the harder ones you might want to get them to try doing in class, right? At least make sure that they are able to do one in class. So for example, question 10. Okay, then check whether they have done it correctly. Let's see. Okay, so this is the end time. This is the start time. So I think it'd be good if you get them to do question 10 and 11 in class. Okay. And then after that, I would say the rest you might want to assign as homework instead. Okay, so I think they need a lot of practice, so I don't mind if we get them to try doing all of this on their own. But perhaps let's see, team completes this in 15 minutes. For the exam, let's see. All right, 10 a.m. Yeah, okay. So I think these are still quite fine. Yeah, maybe do question 15, right? So that this one is a bit different, where they have to act it out, right, in a way. Okay, they have to draw the intervals, right, to find out how many minutes it takes to reach, like so multiplication again. And perhaps question, let's see. I would say do question 16. Yeah, and I think the rest are quite okay, right? Quite straightforward. Okay. If you think they are not confident, sorry, if you're not confident that you can do things like this, right, to create their own word problems, it is okay, right? You can avoid giving this as homework. Okay, if there's enough time, and they have already completed the corrections for previous lesson, you can actually go through this with them, right, to co-create a story, right, a word problem. Okay, and that's it, right, for this week's topic.